Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be evaluating a polynomial expression. We're given that x squared minus x is equal to 1 and we're going to evaluate x to the 5th power minus 5x. We're going to be doing this in two different ways, and let's start with the first method. So for my first method, I'm going to go ahead and solve this quadratic equation. My goal is to find the x values that satisfy this equation and then substitute them into the second expression, okay? Because we're looking for x values that satisfy the first one, and then for those x values, we need to evaluate the second expression, okay? So let's go ahead and put everything on the same side. You'll probably recognize this equation. It says famous one. And if you write the solutions, any method you like, I like the quadratic formula, negative b plus minus the square root of b squared, which is 1, minus 4ac, that's a plus 4, divided by 2. That gives you 1 plus minus square root of 5 divided by 2. Do you recognize these numbers? Hopefully. Now, which value should we use? That is the million-dollar question, right? And I'd like to say I want to use the one with a plus sign because it looks more positive. The other one is definitely a negative number, isn't it? So let's go ahead and evaluate this. So I do need x to the 5th minus 5x, right? So to be able to find it, obviously I know what x is, so I do need to evaluate x to the 5th power. Now, I have different options. I can take the x, raise it to the 5th power directly, and then on the right-hand side here, we must use the binomial theorem. Or I can try raising it to the 2nd power by squaring and then squaring it again, which gives me the 4th power, and then just multiply by x. So let's go ahead and use the second one. I'll take both sides to the 2nd power, and when you take the right-hand side, you're going to get a squared b squared 2ab. Remember the formula, 1 plus 5 plus 2 root 5 divided by 4. This is 6 plus 2 root 5 divided by 4. And from here, x squared equals 3 plus root 5 divided by 2. Awesome. So this is x squared. What I need to do now is square that one more time. Maybe not frame it like that. Let's go ahead and square both sides. And that'll give us x to the 4th power equals 9 plus 5 plus 6 root 5, again by using the same formula, divided by 4. This is 14 plus 6 root 5 divided by 4. We can divide everything by 2 again. 7 plus 3 root 5 divided by 2. So now we got x to the 4th power, and we already know what x is. So x to the 5th is basically x to the 4th multiplied by x. So it is 7 plus 3 root 5 over 2 times x, which is 1 plus root 5 divided by 2, right? Now to simplify this, we're going to go ahead and multiply the numerators. That's going to give us 7, and then 3 times 5 is 15. 7 plus 15 is 22. And then you do the FOIL, 7 root 5 and 3 root 5, that'll give us 10 root 5. And divide by 4 again, that is going to be 11 plus 5 root 5 divided by 2, not 4, obviously. Okay, so we got x to the 5th power. The next step would be subtracting 5 times x. So we need x to the 5th minus 5x, which is going to be 11 plus 5 root 5 divided by 2 minus 5 times, what is x? 1 plus root 5 divided by 2. They have a common denominator, so I can go ahead and just subtract those. Of course, first you need to distribute. That gives you 5 plus 5 root 5. So the numerator becomes 11 plus 5 root 5 minus 5 minus 5 root 5 all over 2. 5 root 5 miraculously, mathematically cancels out. 11 minus 5 equals 6. 6 divided by 2 equals 3. Ta-da! We got a numerical value. Of course, that was the goal, right? Now, what would happen, and this is what I want you to think about, what would happen if you instead use x equals 1 minus root 5 over 2 instead of this, right? I want you to go ahead and explore that and see if you can arrive at the same value, okay? Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the second method. The second method definitely, obviously, uses a different approach, and that's basically the purpose of this video, because I want to show you some shortcuts. Either you're preparing for a math contest or not, doesn't matter, but this is kind of to give you some ideas, quick ways of problem solving, and hopefully some elegant methods. Let me know what you think. I also have another channel that focuses on complex numbers. If you're interested, even if you're not interested, I'm sure you'll be interested. Check out aplusbi. All right, now the second method uses a polynomial approach, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to evaluate powers of x without finding the exact value, okay? So for that, we'll do the following. From this equation, we're going to isolate the x with the highest power, which is x squared. So we can now write x squared equals x plus 1. This is kind of like linearization of any power of x. Make sense? So we're expressing it as a linear function, in other words. From here, obviously, we can come up with so many things. For example, you can get x to the fourth by squaring both sides. Since x squared is equal to x plus 1, if I square both sides, just like before, but this time notice that you're not dealing with anything numerical. This gives you x to the fourth equals x squared plus 2x plus 1, and you always have to remember this. X squared is equal to this, okay? X plus 1. So anytime, anywhere you see this, you can replace it with x plus 1, and then of course it's followed by 2x plus 1, which means x to the fourth was also linearized as 3x plus 2, okay? That is x to the fourth. Now the next thing is x to the fifth. To be able to do that, we're going to take x to the fourth and multiply by x. Does that look familiar? And x to the fourth can be replaced with 3x plus 2, multiply by x, use the distributive property, 3x squared plus 2x. And then this is x to the fifth, remember that. And now you're going to do the magical touch, or mathematical touch maybe. You'll replace x squared with x plus 1 again. Okay. Notice that we're not finding the value of x here. We keep using the same thing over and over. And of course, this linearizes x to the fifth power, and that gives us 5x plus 3. So what is the good thing about it, right? Well, you already know x to the second power minus x is 1, or x squared is equal to x plus 1. But wait a minute, how do you use this information? Okay, let's go back to the basics, right? What was the question again? Well, we were given this, and we're supposed to evaluate this one, right? Okay, now take a look. We're going to do a super duper mathematical touch here, because this is really going to solve the problem. Like, boom, that's it, right? Now, if you go ahead and subtract 5x from both sides, what do you get? X to the fifth minus 5x is equal to 3. So you're kind of solving the problem without solving the problem, whatever that means. And this brings us to the end of this video. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you next time with another video. Until then, be safe, take care. Don't forget to check out the Shorts channel. I have a Shorts channel too. aplusbi, and bye-bye.